everyone. We have some good presentations this evening, and we will get right into it. Our first presentation is by our Oakland County Treasurer, talking about foreclosure prevention.
Look, I brought a copy and there's a copy here already, so you're very well prepared. Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. It's nice to see all of you back again, because this is how the tax cycle works every year. So March 31st is the foreclosure deadline, and so I'm going to go through this PowerPoint presentation and talk about the work that we're doing in our office and how people at home can be helpful in this endeavor as well. So let's get started. So first thing, this is just overall talks about the work that we're doing in our office. So I don't need to go over the details, but there's a lot of work that's done in the office. We've got an amazing team here at the county, working closely with all of our local communities as well. So I'll skip to the next. So the tax foreclosure timeline, as I said, March 31st is the foreclosure deadline for any taxes 3 years and older, right? So we're in 2025. If you owe 2022 and prior year taxes, you are subject to foreclosure this year on March 31st. So the first year, taxes are turned over. So your first year, your taxes are owed to the local community, so here in Southfield. So like this year, in 2024 taxes got turned over to us on March 1st. So if anyone hasn't paid their 2024 taxes yet, they will pay that to our office. They cannot come here to Southfield to pay their 2024 taxes. But so this gives you kind of an, looking from the top, this is the 2021 tax year or 2024 foreclosure year, just to give you an idea. So 41,465 parcels were turned over delinquent. So that's all 63 cities, villages, and townships in Oakland County. We have more than any other county in the state. So 41,000 were turned over. That 39,000 is the number of people that paid their taxes in full. After that is taxpayer repayment plan. So that is, we worked with people to get them into repayment agreements, so they could have more time to pay their taxes, interest, and fees. And again, we cannot reduce your taxes, we cannot reduce your interest or your fees, but we can try to help you find grants, and we can try to help you have more time to pay those taxes. And then the foreclosed properties, the number was 244, but the real number is 131 at the bottom. We withheld properties for various reasons, but 131 was last year. So the foreclosure happens at the county. So the county is the foreclosing governmental unit, and after it's foreclosed, it is statute that the county sells the property at auction. So last year, there were 131 parcels that went to auction. We do the auction online. That was the lowest number we've had in Oakland County. I should say the second lowest number we've ever had in Oakland County. The year prior was the lowest we ever had. The year before, we had about 90 parcels that were foreclosed. The vast majority of parcels that are foreclosed are vacant. It's usually it's vacant land or a vacant structure. So, and there's over 500,000 parcels in Oakland County. So it's a big place. And so just to give you an idea, Southfield specifically, so this is the 2023 foreclosure data. This is 2020 taxes, so that, anyone that owed 2020 and prior year taxes. I should say the 2020 taxes. So 2,400 were turned over delinquent after the 2020 tax year. 786 was forfeited. So the first year is delinquent, the second year is forfeited, the third year is foreclosed. So there was 786 in that second year. 45 were foreclosed. And again, you can see this is a map of the city, and you can see it's all over the city, and this impacts every community in Oakland County. This process impacts every community in Oakland County. Ultimately, 11 went to sale. The most recent data that we have from last year, so this would have been the 2024 foreclosure cycle, with 2021 and prior year taxes. You can see over 2,000 were turned over delinquent on the 2021 taxes in 2022. 764 forfeited. Ultimately, 5 were foreclosed. So it was the lowest number we've seen in Southfield, and obviously in my time there, and I think that we've had. So I kind of reviewed this a little bit, the foreclosure process, but again, year 1, the delinquency, year 2, the forfeiture, year 3, the foreclosure. After the foreclosure, so the law, so I was a state rep prior to becoming treasurer, and we actually changed the law here in Michigan. It used to be if you were foreclosed and you lost your property, that was it. Now there is a process where you can submit a claim form, and you have, you submit the claim form, and then a judge can rule on this that you're entitled to the surplus proceeds. So if the taxes, interest, and fees is $10,000, and the house property sells for $100,000, that $90,000 is what you're entitled to if you have an interest in the property. So that is something that changed here, so that if you are foreclosed, that you can get your interest in the property. Throughout the whole process over those years, there are tons of notifications. You can see some of them up there. Those are the statutorily required ones. There is first-class mail, priority mail, property visits. We actually visit the property twice and post the property. So we are doing everything we can to let people know that they owe taxes and try to prevent foreclosure. There's also the fees, the interest that's added. That's all listed here as well. I always tell people our goal, our job in our office is to collect taxes. We are not trying to foreclose on people. That's why I'm out here doing this work, trying to prevent foreclosure. And so we're doing everything we can to do that. So if you know anyone that owes 2022 and prior year taxes, please make sure that they pay or have them reach out to our office. We do what are called taxpayer assistance meetings. So those are one-on-one meetings that we do with people to talk about their unique situation and try to help them get into a repayment agreement. And we can withhold, obviously, for the foreclosure for that reason. So I always tell people, we don't know you need help unless you tell us you need help. You need to reach out to us. So anyone that's listening at home or here, if you do have 2022 and prior year taxes, please reach out to us if you have not already. Again, March 31st is the deadline. We do those taxpayer assistance meetings. We also have in our office the Financial Empowerment Center, which is in essence like financial coach who can help you with your budget, your bills, trying to get a budget put together, any debt. And they also help small businesses who are looking to put a budget together. Rita, who runs that department, does a really great job. The community outreach, so again, this is me. I'm trying to get to as many communities as possible. I'm going to Oak Park right after this one. I was in Holly. I was in West Bloomfield. I'm trying to get to as many. I'm never going to get to all 63, but I try to change it up every year to try to get to as many communities as possible. But for all of you, please spread the word. So a few resources to be aware of. Again, in our office, call our office. The general number is 248-858-0611. If you want to get, again, one of those taxpayer assistance meetings, those direct one-on-one meetings. That Financial Empowerment Center I mentioned, 248-858-0672. Our website, oakgov.com/treasurer. Also, people are, depending on your income, you could be eligible to get a poverty exemption. That is something you have to call here in Southfield. You have to call the assessor in Southfield to talk through the qualifications and see if you meet those qualifications. Just want people to be aware of that. And then the last one, just to tell you about, is not an entity that is at the county, but it's a group that we work closely with and refer people to. Lakeshore Legal Aid is a free legal service for low-income families and seniors. So these are attorneys that are volunteering their time. They help with everything but criminal law, criminal cases, and traffic citations. But everything else, I think they handle. So their number is 888-783-8190. Their website is lakeshorelegal.org. This is just kind of an FYI. We've actually recorded the videos, and we're in the editing phase right now. Videos that are going to help people just to know. A lot of people ask us questions all the time about the tax timeline, about the pop-up. We're trying to just provide information to people in small, short videos that they can watch and learn a little bit more about their property taxes here in Michigan and specifically Oakland County. So we should have those live hopefully sooner than later, and we'll send those over to you when they are. And I think that's it. So I try to get through it as quickly as I can. I know there's other presentations after, but what I will encourage all of you, again, if you have not done so already and you owe 2022 and prior year taxes, or you know someone that does, it's why we're doing the work that we're doing. We're doing everything we can to try to prevent foreclosure. So please reach out to us. After March 31st, there is nothing we can do. The foreclosure deadline passes. There's nothing we can do. It's kind of different almost the opposite, if you will, of a mortgage foreclosure. A mortgage foreclosure happens earlier in the cycle, but then you have a window to redeem the property. This is obviously a longer cycle, and we're following state law here. After 3 years, if you are foreclosed, there is no redemption period. So that's why we're out here, full court press, trying to let people know that we're here to help, and that we're not trying to foreclose your house on your property, that we want to help you. So kind of went through that quickly, so I apologize if it was a little too quick for everyone, but if you have any questions or there's anything I can assist you with, please let me know.
Councilman Brightwell?
Robert, that was an excellent presentation. I think everything was kind of crystal clear.
Thank you.
You indicated that when there's a foreclosure and then there's a sale, the proceeds obviously go to pay taxes and the obligation, and then it goes to the owner, the resident, the named owner?
So anyone that has an interest in the property,
Okay.
right? So there could be multiple, and sometimes you'll have a lien. And this process is relatively new, right? It's only been around for a few years because we changed the law. But anyone who has an interest in the property, they have to submit a claim form. So March 31st is the foreclosure deadline. July 1st is the deadline for them to submit a claim form. We proactively, if a foreclosure does happen, we proactively send people the form to fill out and remind them to submit it by July 1st.
Right.
So then anything that is owed, so it's taxes, interest, fees, and whatever maintenance costs, and then that, right, you take that from whatever it sells for, and then that difference is what they're entitled to. And then if there are multiple people who filed the claim, it's a judicial process. So the judge actually rules on it and splits it accordingly.
Okay. That has happened since I've been on council. I remember the court decided.
Yeah, so that just started in 22.
Yeah.
I think it was 20, well, there was no foreclosures in 21. In Oakland, we did a moratorium, but 22 moving forward is when that started.
And this is just a generic question.
Sure.
From my inquisitive mind.
Sure.
You indicated that we have about a million and a half pieces of parcel.
500,000 parcels in Oakland County.
Oakland County.
Yep.
Yeah, and the number of foreclosures. How does this compare with other counties with respect to that number seems relatively low?
It is.
With foreclosures.
It is really low. I've never run it against all 83 counties. You know, there's some counties that are tiny, right? There are some counties that are far smaller than Southfield. They're smaller. Some of them are around the size of like Lathrop Village. So there's, you know, all different size counties. We are the second largest behind Wayne County. We typically, Oakland County pays their taxes on time. 96% of taxes are paid before, you know, they even go delinquent. So, you know, and then the foreclosure number is less than, you know, 1%, obviously. It's a lot less than that, or it's less than that. So our numbers, I would say we're probably lowest foreclosures percentage-wise in the state. I would guess we're up there in the top few.
Okay. I don't want to keep you here.
No, you're good.
We got
Happy to answer questions.
Other presentations, but
I got a little time. I'm okay. Thank you.
I want to make sure that my colleagues don't throw me out of here if I keep you here too long. But the inquisitive mind is satisfied. Thank you.
Nice to see you. Yeah, of course.
All right.
Mr. Mayor?
Robert, there's been a lot of questions about federal funding and support of things. Are we seeing any change in the relief money that you use for step up, for mortgage relief, or rather the tax relief? Any change in that program?
Unfortunately not. So that program, so there was Step Forward, which you're referring to?
Yeah,
There was a
Step Forward.
Yep, there
I
was
call it Step Up.
No, that's
Yeah.
okay. Same idea.
Yeah.
There was a federal program called Step Forward that was exhausted just before I got in office. So I took office
Okay.
2021. In 2020, they were out of funds. When COVID happened, the federal COVID relief dollars, so ARPA dollars, went to the states, and MISHDA, the Housing Development Authority here in Michigan, started this program called MyHAF, the Michigan Homeowners Assistance Fund, and they could do up to $25,000 per household based on income and based on a COVID impact, $25,000 per household, and they can use for their delinquent taxes, mortgage, utility bills, condo association fees, things like that. So it was up to $25,000 statewide, and we had over $7 million go towards Oakland County taxpayers, property owners for their taxes. That program ended, I'm going to say at the end of '23, I think it was. So
Okay.
it's or maybe the beginning of '24, but that program has been exhausted as well. The funds have been exhausted, unfortunately.
So is there any other funding?
Not that we're aware of.
Okay.
Not yet. No.
Well, obviously, as a city, we're very concerned with the amount of funding that we've received through grants and the trickle down from federal government.
Yeah.
So I wondered if it was impacting you, and I hear you.
Yep, definitely for that program. I mean, that was a program that was very helpful to Oakland County
Yeah.
property owners.
Yeah. Thank you.
Councilwoman Banks?
Thank you for an excellent presentation. I know I personally am going to forward this to our homeowners association president
Thank you.
to see if they can get it out to, those in our area, and might not be a bad idea for others to consider. So, excellent presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And to build on that, hopefully cable will be able to take this one section and have it running on cable and YouTube, so
Absolutely.
we can get as much information out there.
I would love that.
So if
Yeah,
our
and then
cable
people-
director's listening.
And reach out to us, right? If you have questions, if you're unsure, just call our office. We're here to help. We have an amazing team that they're answering the phones and taking people as they walk in. Call us. The information's there. Again, 248-858-0611. You can email me, treasure@oakgov.com. Please know that we are here to help.
So I do have one last question, unless, does council have any other questions? All right.
I was just wondering.
Go ahead.
Mr. President, I was just wondering, was this presentation online?
We're going to get it there.
We can get up there. Okay.
I know you have a copy here, so I know you'll be able to. Yep.
Okay.
So it takes 3 years to get to the foreclosure point. What happens if someone, let's say they pay all their taxes, and let's say we'll start 21, they pay their taxes, 22 they don't, 23 they do, 24 they do. What happens that one off year?
So it's a great question, but each tax year is independent of the other years. So, and this is state statute, right? So this year in 2025, anyone that owes 2022 taxes is subject to foreclosure. If their 22s and their 23s are paid off, for example, but their 21s they still owe, they are still subject to foreclosure. So it's any tax year, 2022 and prior, and it can just be 1 year or multiple years. So that's why, and occasionally we've seen that, and those instances are when, and I actually visit quite a few of the properties. When we get down to the very end, we do a file review to make sure that we serve them properly, that we, fulfilled all the requirements, legal requirements for notice. And occasionally, if there's a unique situation like that, just before the foreclosure deadline, we're going out there and we're saying, what is going on here, right? There's something that's just kind of missing in your history here. So, try to talk to people about that. So it is any tax year, 3 years and prior.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come out and help educate us as well as our residents and anyone else who can learn from this information and hopefully avoid foreclosure for themselves or for someone they
Yep.
know. So,
Thank you for having me. Again, reach out to me if you need anything, but I appreciate your time.
yeah, right. Thank you.
Good to see you all. Yep, thank you.